Yeah, this is Stephen in California. I'm just going to outline
Okay.
what
I,
Patrick's been
I,
doing.
what I did is I just finished uh, transcribing his new audio,
Yeah.
and I wrapped the Anderson's definitions into it. So while you're chatting here, I'll finish it up and post it by email.
Yeah, and you can butt in and add anytime you want. It's good for us to get it to roll out of our
Right,
mind and
right.
over our tongue.
Yes, I mean we each need to be able to explain it to the others,
Yeah.
and then that way we can work on each other and tweak the little mistakes we made. But if we just expect Patrick to be explaining it all the time, we really won't get it. So we have to try to explain it to each other.
Right.
That's right. So go.
So he was saying that we the people, he was is means we the principal executive officers, that the word people or principal executive officers and the states in
Actually,
order.
the word people is an acronym for principal executive officers per law eternals.
Yeah.
Okay, and
Right.
Patrick,
That's
I'm on the
amazing,
line.
isn't that?
Hi, Patrick. Good evening.
Yeah.
Yes, how you doing? Okay. I've just gone through and I've transcribed your latest audio, and it keeps making things clearer. Well, I hope it does. I listened to your audio from yesterday, and there was a little confusion there. Yes, we were. What you guys were talking about. Okay. And yeah, this thing is very confusing to try and figure it out. But you just can't rely upon one source because of the misunderstandings that everybody has had about some of the sources out here, especially like the words that they had in the very start of its Constitution. We the people. Okay, they could have just stopped at "we create this uh, government." Why did they have to say "we the people"? Because they were referring to a position of authority. And that's what people, when you break it down, they had the 6 words that make up the word people. When you come of age of 25, you become a representative. And when you are one of the chief people or chief living individuals, owners, okay, then you are a principal. And in this country, everybody was to be made a principal by the setup of the Constitution. It's like coming into the promised land, you were to be given your inheritance. This was supposed to be the new Israel. Okay, it's talked about that a lot, but people didn't understand what the foundation of Israel was. All the tribes were given their inheritance, but you had to come forward and properly claim it. And see, that's what the monarchs out of Europe and out of the Venetian Empire did not like about the setup of the United States of America, the charter that was set up here, because it was in total opposition to what the charters they had over the ones in Europe. They had the Venetian Empire charters, which were, in a lot of cases, a monarchy, a king or queen set up. And that's what basically uh, made so many times the people. We need to have a king and queen. We need to have kings. We need to have a ruler over us. Well, that's what they got. But in this country, they prevented that from having a ruler over us because we were supposed to come out and we were supposed to be the principal executive officers. The president is just a chief executive officer of a corporation. He's just a nitwit. Okay? When the living people come forward and start representing the land, okay, that's how they hit it. Everybody thinks that to be, when you turn 25, you can be a representative in the House of Congress. That's not what that was talking about. You were supposed to be a free man, and only a free man under no bondage could be a lawful representative. So all the House of Representatives out there, they're not free men. They're under bondage. They're under corporate bondage. So they're not TEOs. But when one gains the knowledge and understanding, then you start getting the capacity to be able to stand your ground and defend America. But until you come to the full and proper understanding, you're definitely not going to get your assets. And you have to come in and claim your right, standing your ground. And yes, in a lot of cases, you're going to be classified as a complete lunatic. I don't know how many people I've already had call me a complete lunatic with what I'm doing because it is so out of the normal, but it's the right thing to do. Okay, when you understand, and this is an accountant's nightmare out here, this whole process of trying to figure it out. But it's been called out in the movies, the movie Matrix, the Terminator with Arnold Schwarzenegger, the machines, the machines are taking over. Well, what machines have taken over? The cash registers. All of the assets of the country are held in the cash registers under their accounts. They're the ones that are sucking the money from you. It's not the people behind the cash register. It's the cash register that's taking your money and sucking it in to that little drawer, and then the door slams shut. Now you have to be able to come back in and claim it. And you'll find this out very simply by looking at a postal mail, postal receipt that you get from the post office. All the postal receipts, uh, well, it's pretty simple where I'm at because I've only got two machines there at the post office, and they all have the same machine number on all the bills. Well, one machine has its number, and then the other machine has its number. And then all bills that are printed out from that machine are assigned to that machine. So you list all those bills. So I've got machine number 0098 and 0099. I sent the one in for the 0098 in today for about $324 of receipts that I'm claiming back. Everything is prepaid. So you have to know how to go about it to claim it back. You have to cancel the debt that was created by that machine so that now that machine has to open up the door and give you the money back. It's that simple. Walmart, the same way. Okay? In some cases, it's by store number in a big corporation like that. Subway, True Value, Sears, all of these, BP Oil, all of your gas is paid for. But if you don't claim it, then they're going to claim it as profit at the end of the year, and divide it up amongst all the shareholders and give it to their corporate officers because the nitwit Americans didn't come forward and claim their assets. And that's what the money changers came in and brought about with their postal dead world system. But going back to the original Constitution, as soon as you came of age, you could approach your two state senators and do a petition to them to have a private loan or a private withdrawal from the American Treasury. But most people didn't know that either, okay? All the way through the growing of the country. Everybody that came over from Europe, oh, yeah, we just got to go out there and be slaves. We'll just go out there and just work our asses off. Be born, work your ass off, and then die. Accomplish nothing. That's essentially what's been going on. Have those people ever really accomplished anything? No. They were controlled. They were utilized. They were farmed out. Just like a farm down in a cotton plantation. They stripped the farm. They stripped the people. And this is a very foundational one that is right in the beginning of the Bible. They took the spirit away from the people in this country of being free. They gave them the appearance of being free, but they were never free to do totally what they wanted. They were controlled by the money changers and then by the government. A third party states created governments by the 14th Amendment that are not valid constitutional states. You have the 50 landmass states in this country for the Constitution. Then you have 50 states of the state of Iowa, of Minnesota. That means a state that was created from the state Iowa, the state Minnesota. That's a secondary state. And then they also had the creation, because we just had a government per the Constitution, we had a United States of America, not the original United States government or America. Of means something derived from. Okay, so these states were derived, another corporate state that was derived from the original state government. That's where you are now foreign to that, because it was a foreign creation of the Constitution. It was foreign to the original concept of the Constitution. And that's when you come out and you stand, that you have to come forward and claim your office. I didn't know or quite understand why all the judges that I went to, and I went to just about every federal judge out there, even the state judges, in trying to gain access to my account. And they kept coming back and saying, we do not have jurisdiction. Well, they don't have jurisdiction. We are the superior to them. It's our jurisdiction to come and claim it. And that's what you do when I put this affidavit up there. We're coming forward and claiming our jurisdiction. But you better understand what I'm really saying. It's not a trust, okay? It's your inheritance. And see, they're holding our assets in trust It was entrusted to them, but that does not create a trust. And basically, it's out of the book of that Alice or Wizard of Oz. Okay, our assets are being hidden behind the curtain. And what's another definite word for curtain? A tarp. Something that covers something over. And when I found that in the banking laws for the CFR 31 about tarps, and then I found CEO, and I just kept looking at that and looking at it. I said, CEO, hell, that's the first three letters of people. See, you've got to have eyes that you can see things. Most people wouldn't see that. The boy just kept jumping out at me. He said, hey, something's wrong here. This is the first three letters of people. And I said, okay, if this is the first three letters, what's the last three letters? And that's when I came up with it. And the Constitution was founded upon the Bible. So it's per the laws eternal. That basically the books of Moses were to be the laws until the end times. It's not about no damn hocus pocus religion, about being a Jew and being circumcised and all this garbage. Because in a lot of cases, it's metaphoric, the Bible is. It's all about laws. And see, it goes all the way back to the beginning of the Bible. Adam, basically, well, we'll jump back here. The seal of the United States of America has an eagle in the middle. The eagle is representing the humans that are in this country. Okay? The men, okay, of the country. And men and women. Now, there's 13 stars, there's 13 arrows, and there's 13 olive branches. 3 sets of 13. Why 13? Because that is the number of man, 12 plus a spirit of understanding. Okay? Now, we go all the way back to the beginning of the Bible. You had Adam. Okay? So he had initially his number of man, 12, and then he had his spirit. So he was a knowledgeable man of 13. He had his basically spirit that created him from the land, that took the minerals from the earth and formed the body around the spirit to make a temple, a pyramid around that body, around that spirit, and housed the spirit. But what happened? Along came the bankers, and basically, what did they do? They took his spirit away from him. He was put to sleep into La La Land like Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz and lost her spirit. So they took his spirit away. That was the 13th rib that they took. And what did they create with that 13th rib? Eve. They created his Eve of destruction. Didn't create a woman. That's a misnomer. There was women out there running all around at that point in time. Because if basically the devil was there, that means there was other living entities around. See, it was a metaphoric write-up of what the Bible started out as. Cain was one who woke up to the fact and he left town. He got his assets and left. He was remarked. But the money changers who wrote most of the Bible up until Moses' time, and then they started trying to pollute it in Moses' time because they were called Jezebels. Okay, so that's enough on the history of the Bible. Now, we know that they created these foreign states. Why can you say that they are foreign states? Because they have no star on the flag of the country. That means those states are foreign to the flag of the country. If they had a star, there would be 51 more because you would have one for each state of whatever, and then the United States of America. So now you would have 51 new states. So there should be 101 stars on the flag, but there's not. They're operating in a de facto scenario. All these judges are de facto judges, but you have to know how to stand up against them. You know how to have to know and learn your ABCs. It was really ABCs. If you read it fast enough, ABCs. And see, they left out the V in most cases for us. That's why there is no 1099 fee. We have to make up the 1099 fee. A voucher, a warrant to claim our assets. It starts out as a voucher for 3 days. At that point in time, basically, if it's not honored, then it becomes a warrant that can be lawfully enforced with force if necessary. That's when you would turn it over to the law enforcement officers. You would come in, you have to have your established title of being a PEO, a principal executive officer of the land. I don't know why some of these people want to claim that they're not an American. America is the land, okay? You came from the land if you were born here in this country. Because what made up your body? The minerals from the land. So you are of the land. You were derived from the land. So you've got to be an American. The temple, anyway, is. The spirit hasn't been called home yet. So we're stuck here on this planet Earth until we get called home or until we figure out how to break away and get off this planet. But if you're under control of the money changers, you will never get the knowledge and understanding and have the freedom to gain that knowledge and understanding to break away. Okay, enough on the setup of this whole system. Now, I put up there on the site today a zip file that has the way to go and take your $300 penalty envelopes. People need to either go out and get a ledger book, an accounting ledger book, or learn to operate the Excel system on the computer. I put up an Excel file with some examples up there to play around with. I'm a little familiar with that because I've been using those type of programs for about the last 20 years, from working in nuclear power, starting up and writing test procedures. I had to have test documents that basically I laid out in an Excel format. And then you can do additions and subtractions and everything else very easily with the flip of a switch. Yes, it was in the machine world. And then we also have to learn the 1099A and C's. And then we I set up this 1099 voucher, a claiming document, just like their 1040 and 1041 forms that they were trying to claim payment from us that they used for their corporate United States employees or citizens. Either classification, you're under the corporation control. Now, you come out away from that. Somebody's got a speaker or something on.
Yeah, someone's got this on speakerphone. Please turn it off because we're hearing an echo. I think that worked.
Okay.
Good, thank you.
So I put examples of those up there. We had to find the right number. We were using, when we tried this back about 4 years ago, we were trying to use the Social Security number, our birth certificate number, everything as our federal identification number. That's not the federal identification number that they were looking for. This is all in the postal system, the postal USPS, United States Postal System. Okay? It's banking. It's a different banking system. You have a depository where all the de jure assets are being held, and then every mailbox out there is a depository. Every day, they are depositing money into that mailbox if you receive mail. That 46 cents stamp on that envelope, you can claim that back. That's money that they're giving to you. So you never knew how to do it. The receipt that all the stores are giving you, they're giving you money back. You have to take that receipt and go forward and claim it back. But you have to cancel the debt that was created by it first before you could claim it.
So the postage on the mail sent to us can be claimed back.
Yes.
Wow.
Everything out here is basically a money transaction. That's why in Anderson's dictionary, first thing it says about mail is that it's money. You sit around and you complain about, and they keep jacking the price up on gas. Well, guess what? Your gas is free. You just don't know how to make it free, to liberate it. You take the receipt you get and you send it back into BP or to Walmart gas station or whatever. You endorse the back of it. You put a 1099-C with it, canceling the debt, and then a 1099-A to claim that funds back, along with a 1099-V voucher. Just like every court case that's out there, it's the plaintiff versus the defendant. A, B, C. That's what you were supposed to learn, was the ABCs. The B form is for a brokerage scenario. I kept looking at that, and I don't think we even fill that out. The only two that I could see that we have the authority to fill out are the A's and the C's. And then we have to make up our own vouchers. We take the court case, the defendant versus the plaintiff. With those three, you now have had your court, and you have ruled upon that court action. You took it from the defendant with the C, and you gave it to the plaintiff with the A. and the intermediate is the voucher versus. So you've held your private court. It's all about banking. Now, I put as a letter, you have to send in a cover letter. So basically, you write up, and I also have an affidavit of basically coming forward and claiming our accounts. But you had better have a good foundational understanding because you will be questioned about this. And in some cases, it will be detrimental if you do not have a good understanding. So you're better off just staying right the hell where you are and just try and nickel dime things back together with the 1099 A's and C's. You cancel the debt, and basically then you claim it back and just stay at that low level. Or you with your affidavit, you come forward and you do an affidavit. Now they have to disprove that, and they will come and question you on this. In some cases, I've already been questioned in different scenarios by the Secret Service, by the U.S. Marshals, by different organizations. I thought it was because I wrote some letters and some words, a threat, and everything else. No, that was just a front that they used to come and communicate with me. So see, we don't see that. I just got 7 letters back from the IRS for taxes. 2 are for civil penalties. The others 5 were for taxes. Oh,
And that was the one. That's your zip example that you have there for
no,
IRS
it's not.
bills.
That's not.
Okay.
Okay. They sent those to me, one for 2008, 2007, 2006, and 2005 for taxes owed. Then they threw one in there for 2000 for 1992. Hell, that's over 21 years ago, 22 years ago. What were they telling me? They were telling me that there is no statute of limitation upon taxes. If the tax was a fraud, there is no statute of limitation upon frauds or upon the tax. And see, what they were trying to do was when they send you a bill, it's a bill of exchange. We don't create the bills of exchange. We take their bills and we exchange them back to them. But we have to cancel their debt that bill created. And then as soon as the debt's whammo, the cash register door pops open and you can reach in and pull the money back out. That amount of money. In the movie Matrix, Neo was plugged into the machine. All the people were plugged into the machine, except for the few that were living underground. They were plugged into the cash register system. The energy was being drawn off. That's what everybody in this country is. They're tied into the matrix of the cash register. You have to come back in and break away, unplug yourself. I put examples up there for the postal office. $300 penalty envelopes. Those go to St. Louis. I put some document up there. There's a claim and I forget what the heck it is. I think I've got it up there on one of the items. But anyway, when you read the stuff that I put up there, I put a zip package up there about the postal mail and penalty documents. Okay, and I think it was in EO60, official mail penalty. look at some of the documents that you get back from some of these courts, okay? Especially at the federal level. Now, if you paid out of your back pocket for a court case, more than likely, the correspondence you get back from that court is going to be that they are going to send you a $300 penalty envelope. But if you did not pay for that court case and you went in papyrus, I'm dead broke scenario, then any correspondence you get from them will probably not have the $300 penalty on it. Why? When you pay the fee, are they sending you a $300 penalty envelope back? Because it's money. They're giving you the money back for paying the fee. You can claim that $300 penalty. And if filing fee was more than that, basically they might have a black stamp and also a red $300 penalty stamp on it. So that envelope is now worth $600. You have to start thinking outside the box. You have to break away from all this misunderstanding that has been out here in the patriot community about trust and everything like that. About the misconception about the postal zip codes. They made everybody's mailbox a federal depository with that identification of the zip codes. Initially, it was just rural route number 2, but the depository for you was being held at the post office under a box number 9998 or 9999. General delivery, depository delivery. If you had money coming while you were still on the rural route system, you would have to go into the post office to claim that money. But they modernized it and they broke it down. So, like a building may have everybody in that one building or that one block in cities may have the same post 4-digit number out there, but each individual in that box then has another number, like in a apartment building. Okay, you're in apartment number 1. Joe's over here in apartment number 12. So it would go to the federal zone number, your zip code dash your 4-digit, and then your individual identifying number. So when you put your address down, now you've got it properly identified of who that money is to be deposited to, delivered back to. You don't use the right numbers, you're not going to get your mail back, your money back. We are, in a lot of cases, we have been our own worst enemy in this process. By all the stuff that we've been taught in the public education system, by all the churches out here of not understanding what the Bible really is. It's a book of commercial law, just commerce and commercial commerce, the Jezebel money system. It talks about both of them in that Bible. It gives you your remedies right there. But you have to be able to read the metaphors. Jesus came for one reason in the New Testament. Whether he was actually a living person or not, I don't know. But what they were trying to do with the New Testament was to break out a method of showing you the way and the path to operate in just commerce. But see, nobody saw that. And it was written in a metaphoric condition. And metaphor basically is a sleep condition. Which pill were you supposed to take in the movie Matrix? The blue or the red? The blue is settling, okay? You're just going along with the system. Red is a revolutionary, a revolting scenario. And basically, one who is free is basically, he is basically revolting against being controlled. And he will fight to stay from being controlled. So he is red. But most everybody else out here doesn't want to fight. They've taken the oath. Everybody in this country has basically taken the oath to support and defend this country. But now, is everybody living up to that oath? No. They think they are, but basically they're not, because you've got to understand how the money system works. Then, by canceling the debt, and see, when the debt goes away, the inflation goes away too. Now we start operating in just commerce. We've taken the bankers out of the system. When there is no more fictional debt, and most all of it is fictional. Just like in the movie International, the bankers never risk one iota. They got you into a false scenario. They put you to sleep. Okay, like I said, I put those examples up there for different scenarios for the 1099. I tried to put all three, the 1099A, the 1099C, and the 1099B onto one sheet of paper, so that when you fill in your address on the 1099A, it will automatically enter into the 1099C. Now, since 1099B is a different setup, you're going to have to retype your address in on it. And same thing with the money, okay? It won't go onto each one, because in some cases you're going to have to subtract for the interest off the item. And then you do not claim the interest. You only claim the real substance, the true value substance. So let them take that interest and burn it up. That is the fat that's being cut away from the bull in the temple back in Moses' time. It's also called a haircut in Samson's time. Samson was not the good guy. Samson destroyed the temple. He destroyed what was just. But they tried to make it out that he was the good guy and the temple was the bad. But as long as they kept his haircut, kept the inflation out of the system, they had control over him. So when they got back into wanting the frying pan from the local banker out here using interest, all of a sudden his hair started growing out again and started running amok. And that's what's happened in this country. The hair has grown out. This country is totally out of control. It needs to be cut back. Okay. I'm done giving you Bible sermons. Okay, open it up for questions, Tom.
Okay. Well, I've had some. I gather that your package for court action, what you're saying is we should start off paying current bills and not get into right away trying to get all our assets out all at once.
No, I'm not saying that at all.
No?
Okay? No. It all depends upon how you understand things.
Right.
You
If
can
we're
go
ready,
after both of them, okay?
as long as we're ready for the questions that we're going to get.
Yeah. You will basically be operating out here, okay? Even after you get out in just commerce, you're still going to have to operate to go to the cash register and pick up your return that you paid out of your back pocket.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes, there is a package in there for tax returns.
Yeah.
Now-
Basically, people want to know how to get a new car. You go down and you get the invoice for that car, or you the window sticker. You do a 1099-C for the item. You do a 1099-A. Who do you go after? The car manufacturer.
Hmm.
You send it in to the chief financial officer of the car manufacturer.
When we're buying a new car, we would do just a C, wouldn't we? Not an A.
No, you do the C. Now you've canceled the debt that was around that car.
Yes.
Now it becomes abandoned property. Now
Ah.
you have to come and claim it with the 1099-A by way of the voucher.
Okay, so when we're claiming it, we're not claiming the cash for it, we're claiming the actual car itself.
You're claiming the actual vehicle.
Okay, got it. Okay. Now, I like the fact that you have all three 1099s on one sheet. That really makes it simple and easy to understand. But we're going to have to
But that's not going to help you down the road, okay? Because you're still going to have to transcribe the information off of that B copy for the 1099-A and the 1099-C. You're sending the B copy back to them.
Right.
Okay. So you send the B copies and they can be on black and white. Okay. You don't need to have the tearaway part that comes from the IRS. You should order some so that you have the red cover sheet, and do not cut those items away on that cover sheet. They have to be all three intact. Okay. Read the damn instructions. Okay. For a change.
That was my question. We're going to have to do the copy A's and handwrite, transcribe them in handwritten, because we can't print them on the printer.
Well, you could. There are certain programs that we had out there that you could, but basically, in most cases, the printers you have are not going to be able to print on all of those. You'd have to set up a program and put the template in to be able to fill in those blanks into a program, and then you could slide those forms in underneath that.
Right. Adobe has a feature to print the form fields only, but we'd have to get a form for the copy A.
Yeah, and it'd just be for the copy A.
Now, I would gather then we don't have to send in the copy A at the same time we submit the copy B. Do we send them in once a year, or send them in once a month, or what's a good time?
Read the instructions. I'm not going to tell you this.
Okay.
We've gone over this numerous times over the past 4 or 5 years and everything, and that question keeps coming up. Read the instructions, okay?
Okay, will do.
I'm trying to, I'm getting to the point where I'm getting, I guess, pissed off, okay? About trying to tell everybody the shortcuts in the instructions. So, read the damn instructions yourself. That's why they're there. But you have to have an open mind when you do read those instructions, because I've had people come back at me and say, but per the instructions, we can't do this. You didn't read the instructions the right way. Okay? You're reading it as a controlled slave, saying you can't do this. As a employee of the United States Corporation, or as a United States citizen. You're not reading it as a free person one who has the authority over the item.
So we're no longer sending these in by certified or registered mail?
I would send pretty much most of them by certified. At least you don't need to send a green card. At least you'll have the tracking of them that you had
Right.
submitted that. Okay.
Right, because you can look up on USPS.gov when they actually receive it.
Yeah.
You
From
could
the
send
fact-
them prior with
Pardon?
confirmation.
Pardon?
I said you could send them prior with a confirmation. You can have it that they did receive them. That's cheaper.
Yeah.
Yes, priority has a tracking number too, and you can
Yeah.
you don't get a receipt back, but you can look it up online.
Put a confirmation on it. You can get the receipts.
Oh,
No,
okay.
you don't get the receipts back, but you can go on the internet and see it's different
Right.
numbers.
Right.
Okay. Now that probably saved you a little money, but
Well,
when you understand this, okay, you're going to get your money back anyway from the post
right.
office.
Yeah, you've
No.
shown us how to get free mail. There's just going to be a float time for
Yeah.
that.
And then when you do start getting some of this money back, then you'll have no problem in sending it out for the express mail for the overnight delivery.
Sure.
Okay, because you're going to get it back. You go to the business mail entry with those to open up the cash register. You cancel the debt, and then basically get the return back. And basically, you should get your return back in postal money orders.
But still, I'm gonna give just to make advice on when you mail anything, use regular stamps. Do not use script stamp.
Now, it doesn't make any difference. Okay, it really doesn't.
It doesn't.
That doesn't. Okay, that's a misnomer too.
Well, let me tell you an example why I say that. You remember Charlie, right?
Uh-huh.
They had him. They was holding him down in this little county jail, and when you would send him something with stamps on it, they cut the stamps off and put a script on it, on the mail, on the letters.
Uh-huh.
So that has to make a difference.
Yeah. Somebody was claiming those stamps back.
Ah,
But they don't realize that they can claim back the meter postage also. Because there's not that meter stamped onto that envelope.
That's what
These are stamp taxes. Everything that goes onto that envelope is a stamp tax. Now, where do all taxes have to go?
back to us, the tax collector.
They have to go back to the principal,
Yes.
right.
the
America.
source. And who is the principal? You.
Right.
So it's all going to come back to you one way or another, whether it's a meter stamp or whether it's an actual stamp.
And that endorsement that you have for the 300 penalty envelopes, and that basically needs to be stamped on the back of each envelope that we turn over, right?
Well, or basically, I just wrote on there penalty endorsed for set off and claim per attached 1099s,
Okay.
1099s. Okay. And then I signed it as Mr. Patrick Devine and dated it on the back of each one of those envelopes. I've got the Excel file that I had all the envelopes listed on there, and I signed that. Okay, and ordered them to make the payment back to me in a postal money order.
Okay, but you're turning over the actual original envelopes that they send over. We send them in. Yes.
Yeah, you endorse the back of them.
Right. Okay.
Now, same thing with your receipts. And I just with the receipts, I sent in, I don't know, 30 of them for $324 today to my business mail entry. off of this one machine in the post office. That was the thrall pile. So I got that one out the door. But all I did was just sign my name on that.
Okay.
Just give them an endorsement. The 1099 A and the C and the V cover the transaction, and then the cover letter. And then you also have to have, when you're doing that, you put a copy of their 3613 form in there. You put down the local post office, the number of the machine that's on there, and then the amount that you're claiming back. Then it goes to the business mail entry. They take it and they have to, so you have to have a cover letter. It says right on that form that per the customer's letter, okay, then that will go up and that they will get the authorization signature and then the money will come back down.
Okay.
And
I was
then
thinking I
the
would just look at,
$300 penalty envelope, you do an 8096 form,
yes.
and that goes into St. Louis under Vest Quiet Claims and Adjustment Department there, which I think is identified in one of those uh, mail manual that I had there. I think it was
Right.
the E060 form.
Right now on your 1099As, you're sending yours to Kansas City. That we send them to whatever our chief region, IRS region is.
No, you send them where they tell you to send them.
Okay, read the instructions. Okay.
Yes, and basically on that. And where do they want you to send the voucher? The payment stub down at the bottom?
Yeah.
That's where they told me to send it. So I'm going to send it back to them.
Okay.
It came from Atlanta, but they told me to send it to Kansas City. So I'm going to send it to Kansas City.
And I see you have your federal zone number and the identification number for the borrower is their 9-digit zip code also.
Yes,
Okay.
that is their depository place. They're holding our assets. That's where that cash register depository account is being held at.
And when you have court number down here for the account number, is that the particular case number? Or do we find the, so it would be a case number?
Yeah.
And
Case number, whatever. Okay.
For a store, we would have to come up with some identification for the particular store.
Or basically, if they call out, like at the post office, they call out the cash register machine.
Ah, okay. Look at the receipt.
Yes.
Look at the receipt. Okay.
Yeah, you'll normally have it on something basically like Walmart or Casey's or Dollar General or some of these other True Values. It will probably be by store number. And then you're sending these 1099 A's and C's in. You're sending them into the chief financial officer of the headquarters for that corporation. So you need to find out their zip code plus their 4-digit number. You don't go to the local store number because that's not where that's going to be coming from. The corporation is the one that basically all the cash register receipts go back into.
So we send them to the CFO of the headquarters.
Yes, the chief financial officer of the headquarters.
Okay.
You make him the responsible party.
He's going like that.
Well, he's not going to mind too much because basically there's very few people out here that are really doing this.
Well, if we get wound up, good.
Yeah, then you start
you-
shutting down these corporations. See, they're out there utilizing our assets.
Twice.
Our assets are being a corporation, and see, the bankers set up this whole deal about all of these things had to be under corporation and corporate laws, in that a corporation has to zero its books at the end of the year. You can't carry money over. You've got to zero your books. So you got to give it out to your shareholders or to your employees. You got to get rid of it. You got to take it off the books. So if you've taken everything off the books, how in the hell do you operate the next year? Where do you get the money? You've got to go back to the bankers. The bankers are controlling the corporations too. Okay? So, yeah, all these big profits like the oil companies and everything, since the people never came in and claimed the money back that is really owed to them, because the corporations have to go out and borrow. So they go out and borrow from the corporate United States Treasury, because now with the certificate of live birth, with our Social Security account, we have established TARP accounts that are held under a TARP, a Troubled Asset Relief Program. That is the curtain that's in the Wizard of Oz. So the corporation needs to borrow money, like bailouts and different things. They come and they draw what they draw against, but only in the way of having bonds written. The Federal Reserve then turns around and sets up this fictitious debt scenario out here with that corporation. Our assets are still there, sitting there, okay, but they're being utilized under a bond and insurance program to create their operating money for the company to go out, and that's why they're borrowing, and they owe all of that interest back to us. That's why everything is prepaid. Now, your little mom and pop place that only operates within the county, they're not going to be that way. So don't think you can come in against them and cancel the debt.
Right. You said they
Because
had
they're
to
operating as a private scenario.
be, yeah,
They haven't gone out and borrowed from your TARP account. They had to do a borrowing out of their own back pocket. But they don't understand that one either.
You said before that it anybody in interstate commerce is actually borrowing from our account.
Yes, borrowing from the assets of the country, which belong to all of the men and women of the country.
Okay.
Trying to stay away from the usage of that word people. Okay. Because it's the word has been totally misused.
I really
Okay.
appreciated
More
your
questions?
examples today. I really appreciated your examples today. They were very clear. Any more questions? Any questions, people? Or we all ready to just go do this now?
What did I do? Run everybody off?
Well, Pat, you didn't run nobody out. We just listening, man.
Yeah, it really is very,
Stuff.
really is very informative. And,
Well, I don't want to put you to sleep too at the same
No.
time.
you're not putting us to sleep. I mean, my reaction was is a complete satisfaction with what I'm getting, getting understanding of things that I thought I understood before. But I think your new examples and the way you laid it out is nice and clear. And I can also see how the other things you were doing were a sidetrack, but they were necessary sidetrack to be able to get to this.
That's right.
If I got a question, and some of the sidetracking, we had to go out and prove that some of the stuff that these other people were trying to put out there just wouldn't work, period. Okay.
Right.
So, yeah, I probably should have just kept my mouth shut, not even bothered setting up this site, just gone out and done the endeavor myself, and then come in and said, okay, here's the answer. But that's not the way it's supposed to work, okay? We're supposed to work together as a unit. And basically, there's been a lot, very little of that. And then a lot of people out here have been just too inundated. Well, this sounds good over here. This guy over here, he's doing this and he's doing that. Basically, he's getting results. Uh, you know, I have yet to see any real hard, facet results that come out of these people that will work on a continuous basis. Okay. In most cases, these people that are claiming that, they're out there charging you money out of your back pocket.
Yes, indeed.
Knowledge was supposed to be free. Okay. When you gain the knowledge, okay, it will be there for you.
I have a question.
Yes, Peter.
Hi, Thomas. Hi, Patrick. I saved all my receipts and stuff. I saved all my credit card bills, like say from Wells Fargo. Now, can I can I'm trying to figure out how to do that. I'm sorry, I'm outside. I keep them all together, add them all up, do a 1099-C, 1099-A, the voucher, and send it to the CFO of the Wells Fargo.
Well, and fill out the Excel spreadsheet, which is sort of a list of what you're sending in.
Yeah, I kept all the records.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
Try and record them. And
yeah,
basically, say we're out there utilizing your asset, okay, the whole time.
yeah, since I paid out of pocket and I usually pay like before there's no interest. So I paid before the 30 days.
Mhm.
And so that means that everything I paid was out of pocket. So that means,
So you got money to pay something like this.
well, hopefully I can understand this and get it in my nitwitch head so I can do it properly. And I just have to make sure I get the zip codes of the fortune numbers for the right party.
Right. Well, yeah, for that credit card. Okay.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
not doing the individual people, you're doing the credit card company.
Hey, you know what I got? I got my EIN from the IRS that sent it to me, and they sent it to me in one of those envelopes that says $300 penalty. That's the first time I ever noticed it. So I'm gonna
Right.
try that.
So they paid for your $128.
Interesting. All right,
Well,
I'll do
yeah,
that.
and basically you order some forms from the IRS.
Yeah,
Okay.
I did. Mhm.
More than likely, the envelopes that you get those delivered in is going to have $300 penalty on them.
Okay.
Yeah. Wow, I ordered a bunch of 1099, so I'm just waiting for it to come.
Yeah.
Oh,
And then you just need to put down that address that's out there for that to go and claim those back for the 300. I don't know whether I had it on the Excel file for that one or not.
For the 300s, I think you did.
The St. Louis address.
I'll have to double check.
I think so.
So I've been throwing away all of my receipts, so I got to stop that.
Yeah.
No, I
And
even
basically, I
keep
did that today. I walked in there and basically, sometimes you just don't even think,
Yeah.
and you don't stick up the receipt.
Yeah, you have to realize, hey, this is money.
I keep my In-N-Out burger receipt, my cheesecake. I keep every receipt. So I'm gonna ask.
So I mean, I'm going to go back after all my utility bills and house payments and our property taxes.
So yeah, it's on that Excel sheet that I posted into that PO submittal examples. Okay, when you open that up, for the $300 penalty envelopes. The Excel sheet right there has the address for that claims and processing accounting service for the U.S. Postal Service there in St. Louis, Missouri.
That's
Where
those
you
examples.
send those penalty envelopes into.
Those samples today were very nicely organized.
Yeah, I think I can get it. Thanks, Patrick.
Okay.
Patrick, this is Marshall. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yeah.
You were starting to say something about the credit card. So if you run all your bills through the credit card system, you just do it to the credit card. You don't have to do it to the individual businesses that you purchase from.
Well, basically, your credit card company is basically charging you, okay,
Right.
for that.
Get it from both.
Yeah, if you got the receipt, you can turn around and claim that against the receipt. But just be, that is not really just, okay? To do it
Right,
double
but what I'm
dipping, okay?
no, I'm not trying to say double dipping. What I'm saying is if we do it on the credit card company, we don't have to do it on
Then you
all
would force
individual
them to
receipts.
go, they would have to go back to the other company to get it, okay? Okay.
Right, because I was trying to streamline my bookkeeping or my payments going out that I was just paying it to the credit card company. And I was running all as much stuff as I could through the credit card company.
Uh-huh.
So did I streamline it in the right way that I don't have to send all those receipts in then?
Well, I would try it that way and see what comes back. Okay. I don't know. Okay.
Was
A
that
lot of
work
our
with
stuff
debit?
is sort of new. Okay. We have to try it. And basically, we can make mistakes. Okay. But it's one way. It's got to be one way or the other.
Correct,
Okay.
but I do have it the other way that I could go back and do each individual receipt because I kept both of them.
Yeah. And basically,
So I
you
guess
didn't go to 100 different places. You normally probably went to only about 4 or 5 different places, right?
a dozen maybe.
Okay. Yeah. And basically, you're going to do some of this stuff out of your back pocket, so you're going to have to go to those places anyway.
Yes, correct.
Okay. I mean, sometimes, well, I forgot my wallet at home, so basically, I got some cash in my back pocket here, so I'll pay with cash.
I got a
You're
question,
writing
Patrick.
check. Huh?
Go ahead. I have a question. I just got you around from Illinois. I think I got a pretty good understanding on what you're saying about the receipts and bills and so forth and so on. But what I'm not getting a clear understanding on is how to get out of the system completely. I understand the tit for tat, but I don't want to. I don't want a tit for tat. I just want to cash out.
Well, that's where you have to come in and do the affidavit. Okay. You're of age. And you do that affidavit, you put that into place. Then you do a 1099 A and C. You send those out to the Treasury. You notify the Attorney General, you notify the Postmaster General also. Okay? In the endeavor.
I can send them a copy of the affidavit.
Of the affidavit, and basically that you put your claims in with the Treasury.
To the Federal Financing Bank, right?
No, you just send them into the Secretary of the Treasury.
Okay, SEC. Okay.
Yeah, see, as soon as you've got your affidavit, you are a principal executive officer.
They can tell the boss what to do.
That's right. Okay?
Yeah, okay.
It's like the president come down. Does he go to the bank? No, he goes to the Secretary of the Treasury. Issues his executive order to them.
All right, Pat. You mentioned sending the 1099 A and B to the treasury. All right. Well,
And C.
what would you put on this 1099 A and B? You just put full amount?
Yeah. You don't put a dollar value. You just put for liquidation. You're ordering the set off and cancellation of all debts, associated debts, and then you're going to claim back all of the just assets.
Okay. Okay.
And the interest rate, you say that basically that's a haircut set off or whatever.
Okay. Any more?
Yeah, this is Tom from Michigan. I got a question, Patrick. Thanks for all the knowledge that you're sharing with everybody. I've read some of your work on the Form 56. Do you include the Form 56F?
So 456.
Form 56F.
Oh, you mean the 56? The
Yeah.
56 and the 56Fs? No, you don't have to include those. Okay.
Okay.
Those mostly, you've got them on file with the IRS. You have to send those in when you do them. The Form 56F, I think, has to go into Ogden, Utah, or not Ogden, Utah, to San Antonio, Texas.
Austin? Austin?
Austin or yeah, whatever, down there, somewhere in Texas.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's on the form.
Yes.
That it needs to go in there. And then the other, just the straight Form 56, you send normally to where you would, your fictional person would be filing his taxes at. Okay. But in most cases, we're going to be trying to come out of the system. So when you've done your EINs, now you've declared him dead. And now you're going to be trying to come in and pick up the estate and take it into the living world. Okay. And see, everybody thinks that the death and resurrection of Jesus was the only time that ever happened. No, there was over 23 different times throughout recorded history that this same death and resurrection took place. Different people started seeing how to come out of the system, and they tried to awaken their cohorts out here.
One last question for me. Do you have time where you do seminars at all?
No.
I'd be right now.
This is the seminar right here.
Yeah, I tried to get away from the talk shoes and everything like that because I'm not going to get into that scenario. Seminars, I'm not ready to go that route yet. And basically, then it would be I would set up the damn thing to where I would be in total control and not at the mercy of anybody else, and I wouldn't be charging for it anyway. Because I'll have my assets and basically I'll be able to take care of it. Okay. Like I try to tell people before, okay, especially like people like Tim Turner and a few other people years ago, that basically, unless they can tell the people exactly how to pay for their seminar ain't worth shit. Think about it, okay?
Oh, nice.
If somebody can't tell you how to pay for that seminar ain't worth shit. They're just trying to get in your back pocket.
That is absolutely on target, what you said.
Yeah.
Okay. Any more? Any more questions?
I want to say thank you to you, Patrick.
Okay, you're welcome.
Appreciate thank you, Patrick.
Yes, I think we all thank you very much.
So the stuff that you be finding, I mean, from my own experience, it ain't easy to find, man. It's not so easy to get.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out how in the hell I got into that 31 CFR and found that tarp, the curtain. And see, we tried to, we thought it would make all the sense in the world that these accounts were over with the postal system under that TSC account. But then we just started getting a little feedback from them. And I went in and tried to punch those numbers. Well, all those TSP numbers have to be 13 digits. So right there, that threw us completely out of that picture. And then the next day, one of the girls from that office called me up and said that they couldn't. She couldn't find anything. She said she even went in there as far as to take my name and do a search through the whole database and see if anything came up. And she just still didn't come up with anything. Since that point in time, I've got 2 letters back from them saying, "Hey, we can't help you."
Well, at
So,
least they tried.
yeah, they're at least they're giving us communication. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's what in some cases, a couple of the guys, a couple of them are here on the call. They were in bankruptcy, and basically they talked to the judge afterwards, and basically the judge told them, "Hey, you can do this yourself.
Hmm.
You don't need us."
So the TSB 70 is definitely a form that we have to figure out.
No,
No, it's a form that we're not going to use. Okay, so
Okay.
forget it. Okay, that's I
that one.
pulled it all off the site.
Okay.
Look,
Okay.
Patrick, I know you taking it off the site, but just shit for shits and giggles. I mean, 13 digits, that sounds like a death certificate.
Well, yeah, we tried that too. Okay, so it's not there. Okay, it's under the death certificate is under a tarp. And the tarps are all held at the Treasury, those Troubled Asset Relief Program. Okay, that tarp. You see, that's what was being pointed out in The Wizard of Oz, the curtain. Also in the movie Majestic. Basically, they took out the tarp off the statue and basically used it for the screens to show the movies. See, some of these screenwriters put certain things into their movies, whether they do it knowingly or not, I don't know. But that's pretty big to take the tarp and to hang it, and now to show the movie, show you something. Okay, in a lot of cases, people have to start being able to read between the lines. What is being said and what is not being said. And that's one of the big problems is people can't comprehend what has not been said, what is missing. We're
Hey, Patrick,
yeah.
the 56F form on line 6, it has a check the ethical box for the type of financial institution. It has bank, and the next box it has thrift. I just wanted to, put that out there. Never know if you did have a thrift box on the 56F form.
Yeah. Well, basically, we're going after our bank accounts, our depository and our depositary bank accounts. Our depository is our mailbox. Our depositary is our account that's being held under the TARP as a troubled assets relief program. And that's what we have to go in and take the tarp up and pull our assets out. Okay?
Yes. Okay, any more questions?
Yeah, would it be a good idea to just get your credit reports and then just, just go about it in that way? Wouldn't that be a lot easier? I mean, for the short version of it.
No, that credit report's a bunch of garbage.
Okay.
Okay? You start learning about the 1099 A's and C's, your credit's going to be 100% because you'll be getting your money back. Okay? The banks ain't going to give you. The only reason they put those credit reports out there is so that they can charge you a certain usury interest rate. Okay? That's all that those damn credit reports and everything are all about. They're trying to gain access to more information from you.
Yeah, another con here.
So
Yeah.
it tells them how much of a sucker we are.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're sucking more information out. The one big thing in this country, people need to shut their damn mouths, especially when they don't know what the hell they're talking about.
Okay, so what do you do right now? I'm sorry. So go ahead. You're good. How do you respond? How do you respond to somebody that's asking you for your social security number, and you respond by saying, "Well, I don't have to give you my social," and then they say, "Well, I can't do any business or whatever with you because you won't give me your social security number."
Well, who was it that was asking it? Okay. If somebody's got a gun, give it to them. Okay.
I mean, like I might be needing a service, like and I know pineapple service or whatever is a contract. I get that part of it, but I mean, but participating in the system, you can't really do anything without the contract, from what I understand. So,
Well,
I
you
get
can
that?
come in under your EIN number.
See, and that's the question right there. I've been wanting to ask you for a longer time, Patrick. Is it the EIN? And I know it's a powerful tool, but I mean, how do you utilize that tool? Let's put this. Just say. I'm not trying to cash out all of my accounts. I'm stuck in here. So how can I use my EIN number opposed to my social? So do I use it in the same way I would use my social?
Well, basically, you give them that W-8 form, okay, that you are exempt, okay?
Okay.
That's what you need to give them is the W-8 when they ask you for your Social Security number. No, here's my W-8. Now, if they don't want to comply, then basically say, well, have a good day. I'm giving you information out here about how to start drawing funds out of your account
Right, so that we don't need those contracts.
so that you don't need those things, so that you can start going out and being independent. You don't know how powerful this information is, okay? When you start growing and understanding all this stuff that I put here to get your money back. This is just the tip of the iceberg that I put up here. But sink the ship. Because now you can turn around and claim everything back from that employer. He, with the W-4 form, is turning around and drawing from your account to pay you.
Right. Well, you authorize.
Yeah, you
Yeah, so you
authorize,
turn
you
around
give
and
them
give.
authorization to borrow against your TARP account.
So what about if you turn around and give the employer a W-8 form?
Then you will refuse to sign the W-4. Now, basically, it's up to him whether he wants to hire you or not. Okay.
It's just like,
But always more people out there, and basically, when you why do you want to work for some nitwit anyway? Why not go out and start up your own damn business?
True. Well, I have a bill here in front of me for it's actually a Verizon cell phone bill, and I'm looking at it, and there's two parts. There is a quick bill summary which has a breakdown of the payments and taxes and all that other crap. And there's like a part at the bottom that you could tear off. Looks kind of like a check. Now the thing is that when I'm looking at the 1099 A and C and where it requires the borrower's identification number, there are two different.
Go online, okay? You go online and you find out the headquarters for that corporation.
Okay, because like on each of the statement and on the little check coupon thing that you tear off, they have the federal identification number, but it's different on each one.
Yeah, you're going to send this into the chief financial officer of that place where that bill came from.
And then I would endorse the bill or this
Yes.
coupon.
You endorsed basically the bill or whatever there and send it all back to them. Scan a copy of it after you've endorsed it.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. That's what I did. The template that I had up there for the IRS bills. You can print that out on their paper and then just sign it, date it, and send it back to them. Along
And
with
here where it says account number for either the store or the port. Would I put in
Not
the
your
account
going
number?
for the store or for the court.
Yeah, this is like for the sense of in this case it would be the bill. So I guess
Okay.
it's the account number that is being billed.
What bill are you asking about? Okay.
Well, right now I'm
What's
looking
the
at
name of the company? What's the name of the company?
Verizon.
Verizon. You go onto the internet and you find out where the Verizon headquarters is at. Okay? You find their headquarters, you find their chief financial officer. You have to find their zip code and their 4-digit numbers. You may have to more than one web page to find that.
In fact, what we did was we just called their post office, whatever city or town it was, and asked them. Because if you ask your local post office, they won't give you that information.
Yeah, your local post office that, yeah, you can, should be able to. You could probably even call up the company and ask them what their headquarters, 4-digit zip code is. Their full zip code. Say, I've got something that I need to send back and I need to have your full depository account number.
All right, so the borrower's identification number is the same as the account number.
No, the borrower's identification number is going to be their mailbox number, their
Yes.
federal zone number,
Yes.
just like
Nothing.
yours. Okay? It's going from one depository to another depository.
Right. And that's the zip and the 4 digits. But after like, I'm looking at
and the 4 digits. Now, the account number is like the apartment number in the apartment building. Okay, that apartment building basically has a 5-digit zip code and a 4-digit box number. Now, there's a whole bunch of people that live in that apartment building. So there's a whole bunch of accounts at that corporation. That's
You
the
probably
number
have
that goes down at the bottom.
Right.
Your account number that is basically on that bill.
got you.
Don't make this more difficult than what it is. It's
Right.
pretty damn simple.
Yeah, you're right. It is pretty cut and dry. I mean, it's just getting together the technicalities as far as the numbers are concerned.
I think everybody gets brain freeze when they look at a form.
Well, I mean, especially when you getting into an area that you ain't never been in your life.
Yeah, you know, but
You gotta learn all different
you
languages.
have to, yeah, this is a self-teaching program. You have to teach yourself to start waking up.
Right.
Just like Neo in the Matrix.
And so then the
Now we're all
voucher.
looking-
Go ahead.
Oh, so then the voucher part of this, the 1099V, this year would be distributed to.
You're putting that voucher in, and basically, you put a 2 cent or 3 cent stamp on that. Okay,
Yes, I see that.
and read
the
what it
post office.
says about voucher in Anderson's Law Dictionary. In Anderson's Law Dictionary, they talked about a 2 cent stamp on that to make it a valid voucher. It had to be stamped, posted. Okay. Then it became a valid warrant if they did not honor it within the 3-day time frame.
Then it goes to that business office location at the post office, correct?
Huh?
This voucher then would be sent to that business location at the post office, the RIBS location.
Well, it's going to the financial manager. You are vouching him to come forward and make the payment.
Okay.
Now, basically, if they don't make the payment, then you take that voucher to a court. That chief financial officer, corporation for the corporation, will now become the defendant in the court case.
Gotcha. Okay.
You become the plaintiff. Now, who normally wins in a court?
The creditor.
The plaintiffs normally win.
The plain.
So,
I thought
See,
the creditor
that's the
always
problem.
won.
You haven't turned all these court cases back around. We had to do a countersuit on almost all court cases to where we got to stand on top of them.
Okay, well, that clarifies a couple of things for me. Appreciate it, Patrick. Thank you.
Okay, well, yeah, I mean, talk it over, write it down, look these things over, think about it, sleep on it, wake
Okay.
up in the middle of the night, jump up out of bed and basically sit up down, go back to sleep again, think about it some more. Basically, you'll be surprised how much you learn in your sleep.
Oh, absolutely.
That's where you do most of your processing.
Your mind is constantly, it never sleeps. Okay? Your soul never sleeps.
I know that.
I've got Greg on the call through my Skype chat, and he just said that go to the library and look in the Book of Corporations, and you get a listing of all corporations in the U.S.
Should have their zip codes or something in there.
Yeah,
It's the Book of Corporations.
Book of Corporations. Yes.
Oh, but you can go into if you got computer access. One of the best search engines that I've found is using dog, all one word, dog pile.
Yeah, dog pile. Yeah, I use dog pile. Yes.
Hmm.
That go is good too.
You know, I found the zip code. All you do is go to the zip code, USDS zip code, and you just type in the address, the street number, the street, the city and state, and then it gives you the full all the digits for the zip code, and that's how I found it. But you have to have the address. That's just some info.
Yeah. But in some cases, you still have to go in and find out where that corporation headquarters is at, like Subway. The corporation for Subway is located in Milford, Connecticut, I think.
Now, real
And,
quick, do you think it would be wise to include a cover letter and a W-8 form when you send the bill into the CFO?
No,
Okay.
you include a cover letter along with your 1099A, and I would do also and a copy of this affidavit after you get that notarized and signed, and then you put a copy of that in there. The first time you're filing in with it, that you're coming in as an American principal executive officer.
Okay.
See, they're a corporation. They had to get permission from somebody. Well, who is this somebody that is really out here? It was the people, okay, the principal executive officers that set up the original Constitution. Even though they may be a 14th Amendment corporation, they all derive their corporate status from the Constitution, the original charter for the land of America. And if you're the principal executive officer, then you stand over that corporation in a higher position. Now you become like a board member over that corporation. How many board members does it take to fire the president of a company?
Majority.
2.
Two?
Yeah, two.
No kidding. I didn't know that.
That's in the Constitution.
Huh.
Article 3, Section 3.
3, Section 3.
So we fire
It takes two to file a charge of treason.
Oh, right. Okay. 2 witnesses.
Yes.
Got it.
See, there's a lot of
I wonder if that even applies.
Huh?
So I wonder if that even goes up to apply to the U.S. corporation.
Yes. But see, you've got to get your status first, okay?
Yeah.
And then you've got to use it wisely, okay? You can veto any law out here. You have the right of veto, but you do your affidavits. Now they have to come in and prove that you don't have that. And see, that's what I was getting out of all these courts. They kept coming back and saying, we don't have jurisdiction to do what you want. And they're right. They didn't.
The judge told me that too.
Yeah.
He told me that he didn't have jurisdiction to do what we wanted. He said, you can do it yourself.
Mhm.
So I got a question. If a slave don't have no freedom, how can I demand freedom without having it? I mean, I don't get me wrong. I get the 25-year premise and everything else you done put out there, but I mean, what I'm trying to say is, I hope I said it right. How can a slave demand his own freedom?
Are you saying that you are a slave?
As long as I have a birth certificate, I'm under the assumption that I am.
No,
No.
that's not so.
See, you're operating under the wrong presumption. You're operating under the presumption that basically has been put out here in the patriot community to make you think you're a slave.
But
Okay.
I mean, but isn't that certificate allowed under a bond, which puts me in bondage, right? So that's not like
Your assets are in bondage.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
why don't you tell them what you told me to do, and I did it, and all of a sudden everything turned around.
Yeah, basically signing the back of your certificate of live birth and sending it back to them. You endorse it back to them. And see, that's what we were trying to do with this taking a copy of our certificate of birth and sending it into them and making the statement into I sent one into the treasurer, and then I've notified the postmaster general also. Okay, see, the postmaster general is the highest governmental office in the country, even higher than the president, because basically he controls the purse string. he deposited the people's assets with the Treasury Department. And then the Treasury Department placed them over under the Department of the Treasury in 1871. See, the original Treasury of the country was just known as the Treasury Department. But the Department of the Treasury was created. And see, that is a separate corporation out here, and they're holding our assets under the TARP. They're in the Department of the Treasury. Now, the Secretary of the Treasury is over both the Department of the Treasury and the Treasury Department. But over him stands the Postmaster General, and then as an insurance, they have the Attorney General. So you've got two generals that are standing over the Secretary of the Treasury.
So that's what we should do when we send in the 1099s for the complete withdrawal. We should also send in the endorsed certificate of live birth.
Or a statement that basically you will hand over the original at that point in time. If you have a scanned copy of it, you can put that in there, and basically then you sign the bottom of the document. So like what I was doing, the bill of ladings with those items.
Okay.
And then you turn around and you pound upon the attorney generals out here to give you see the seal for the Justice Department. He who demands justice shall receive is the motto on that seal. Okay. You have to go in under your right of redress and demand justice. And that means just exchangement. And when you do your affidavit and then you send a copy of that into the Attorney General of the country and into the state Attorney General,
Did Patrick drop out?
Hello.
Or did our call must have dropped out?
I think Patrick glossed out because it was right in the middle of a sentence.
Yes, but who's speaking here now? Tom?
Steve, California.
Okay, then you're not on my Skype call. So Patrick dropped out.
Yeah, Patrick dropped out.
Okay.
His phone went out charge again.
Yeah, I heard a phone. Like bell or something.
Yeah.
Well, oh yeah, and that is a signal when someone leaves. That sunk, right? That's a signal when someone leaves free conference call. So maybe his battery gave out on his phone or something.
See, that when it sounded like he stopped.
Right. Well, this was really a good call.
No kidding.
Yeah, it's a lot of information.
Yes, Patrick.
okay, I'm back online now.
Yeah, we figured your battery gave out or something.
Yeah, I'm sitting here and I should have plugged it in. I just didn't pay any attention to it. I didn't hear it. But anyway, all the state attorney generals are also tied into the Treasury Department. They're tied into the Treasury Department as they are agents for the financial management system.
Mm-hmm. You got into
and
this
basically you
before.
come in and you file your complaint in with them.
Okay.
Right.
And when you put your affidavit of being a PEO in, you get a copy to them. And now you stand over them when you order something. Now they have to hear you. But until you have your standing as a PEO, you're not going to be heard.
And
I would take that affidavit when you do it, okay, and run 3 copies of it when you go to get it notarized Okay. So you have 3 copies. You keep one original for your own records.
Right.
I would have one original to send into the Secretary of State to get it either apostilled or something to get it recorded by the state. The other one would go to the United States Secretary of State of your standing, that you have claimed your office as a American representative. You are now representing the land as a principal executive officer or as a principal. Okay. And then you set up your principal executive officer as your right hand son of man.
Okay.
Now, if you're left handed, you'd use him.
All right. Okay. And you brought up this it's the fact that the Postmaster General and the Attorney General are in charge of the Treasury Department before.
They have power over them. Okay.
Yes. Right.
That basically, if you have a grievance, that would be where you would go to.
Okay.
Good. Either the Postal Inspector Service, and see, the postal system is the man and woman's banking system. You don't need these commercial banks.
I like what you told us about the seal of the DOJ here. I think that he who demands justice receives justice. I think we need to remember that when we're ever visited by the men in black.
Well,
That's the basic attitude.
if you get visited by the men in black, basically, you're going to be questioned about more than just that. Okay, they're trying to find out whether you understand the banking system, and basically, depending upon the size of some of these accounts, you can cause damage to both the country if you do not have a proper understanding dealing with.
So they need to know we really do understand the
That you're not
theory,
going to be
the process.
if they give it to you, you're not going to cause harm to the country in its entirety.
That's their main concern. Okay. So we have to show what we're going to do good with it. Good.
In a lot of cases, they'll try and say, well, you're going to try and destroy the judicial system or something like that. Well, yeah, in a way, you're going to try to, okay, but you're not going to come out and say that I'm going to go after the judges, that I'm going to destroy that whole thing. Because, see, those judges are out there controlling the people that want to be controlled, that want to have a driver's license, that want to have a license on their vehicle, that want to pay school taxes when they're not getting the service for school taxes. See, they have taken your certificate of title to your property. They are basically, all of those taxes are prepaid. All taxes in this country have to go back to the principal. Now, if you're the principal, then you're going to get those back to you. And that's why we have to come in and claim to be the principal executive officer. Or we're claiming the principal office as being a representative of America. We're not a representative of the corporation or of the government, corporation, chartered government. We are a representative of the land because we came from the land. We are part of the land. But we're a living entity that is standing upon the land.
Okay. I'm going to listen to this call several times. This has been a very good call.
And all tax, like I said, all taxes, your property tax, Now, if you have no kids in school, you never had any kids, you can go back and claim all your school taxes that they took out from you back. Because you did not get the service. Those taxes are only there for services rendered. Now, if you never got any services rendered from those taxes, you owe no taxes. Show me the services that I was rendered.
That's the books.
And see, look it up in Anderson's dictionary. It talks about that very plainly. But see, people don't understand the basic concept of what taxes are all about. They go in and they argue the wrong thing. Then they never understood how the money system really operated, because all you have to do is do the 1099-A and C and cancel the debt. And then if you got the services, you just cancel the debts. Now, if you didn't get the services, you do the 1099-A to claim that tax that was withheld back.
Right.
Any other questions?
So we have everything answered now. Each always, I guess we'll have to work it over in our sleep and process it.
Okay, yeah, get in there, start working on your Excel files, or
Yep.
adding all these things up. Okay.
I got something to do in the morning. I'll get right to this.
Yeah, I'm
Thank you,
on
Pat.
my right thing.
I got one question before y'all leave, though.
Go ahead.
How to go about this 56? We don't have to sign on tax forms at all, do we?
No, basically, you don't really need to have that per se. Okay. You should have them. Okay. So you understand where you stand in the capacity. So I would go ahead and do them. Okay. Have them. Okay. So you are let's put down that you are the principal executive officer, the PEO, on there. Okay.
So we don't sign it as executor anymore, but as PEO.
No, don't go as executor. You're going as the PEO.
Oh, okay, got it.
Well, then I got another question in, and I don't know where it goes, but I'm gonna ask it anyway. What is well, anyway, what is in appropriate persona?
I don't
What
know.
is that exactly?
Look it up in the dictionary.
I'm about to look it up, Patrick. I know I shouldn't ask it, but I asked anyway. I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah,
I did look it up in
I flunked about 2 semesters of Latin, so basically don't ask me.
Okay, but what
I
it
go to
is
the
Anderson.
dictionary half the time when it comes to some of these Latin terms, and then I still mess them up.
Yeah, it wasn't in Anderson's. That's why I asked.
Well, basically, if you don't find it in Anderson's, go ahead and look it up in Bouvier's, Ballantyne's, or Black's. But be very cautious about what their definition is going to say. Now, Anderson's or Bouvier's has a good breakdown of, I think it was representative in there. It was one of the words that basically we let's see, I think
Okay,
it was representative, or maybe no, it was either principal or representative when I looked it up in Bouvier's, but it talked about under a civil scenario that it gave 2 different breakdowns, and it talked about third party actions in there. And see, that's what we're dealing with in a lot of cases out here, is these third party states. The state of the United States of America. They're all third party states. Okay. They're really dead corporate states, and they're unconstitutional from the original Constitution.
I just looked that up. It's in propria persona, and literally the Latin means in one's own person, and is usually meant to indicate without representation by an attorney.
So that means that's you establish your status then.
So it's a pretty much equivalent to pro se for yourself.
But pro se is a bad thing. That means you awarded a stake, right? If you in pro se, right?
No, you're awarded a state if you get an attorney.
That's right. But that's what pro se means. That means pro peculiar.
No, we're representing ourselves. We're not letting someone else do it.
That's right, and that's what appropriate persona is. That means you representing yourself.
Right. In other words, appropriate persona is about the same thing as pro se.
But actually, it's quite the opposite of pro se. Is what I'm trying to is what I understand it to be.
No, the Latin for pro se means for himself.
All right.
I got a question.
Go
Patrick,
ahead.
this is Stephen in California again. I was just wondering, should we mention anything about the Declaration of Independence? Because, that may be, like I mentioned, it may be some of the private assets that we are entitled to also.
Well, basically, the Declaration of Independence just declared that everybody had the right to certain rights. Okay,
Mhm.
that's all that did. It didn't set up a trust or anything like that.
Right.
Okay, it just established that you had certain rights to claim them. You
Right, and that's
still
what we're
have to
doing
come
with the
forward. Yeah,
That's what
you
we're
still
doing
have to
here.
you still have to come forward and make your claim.
Right.
Right.
And
Isn't
just like
isn't the Declaration pretty much saying that we're all principals, but we do still have to claim it?
yes, you have to make your lawful claim. Just like all the tribes in Moses' time, they had to come forward and make their claim. Now, they came by clan or tribe thing. Look up the definition of family. So many of these people out here in the patriot community use the word family. The word family was established to basically incorporate the slaves of the household. That is what family really means. The household slaves.
So that's one of the first words you pointed out when you got into Anderson's.
Hmm?
I wondered if my parents just wanted to breed some slaves.
Well, basically, you are a slave. You're at their mercy of
Yeah.
mom and pa until you come of age.
Yeah. I remember asking them that. Like you say, they try to control you, and there's, not that much love in the family, and everybody's getting pushed around. You're like,
Yeah,
why'd you have kids?
but then they come in and they try and control you.
Yeah.
One of the worst controlling entities out here, even far worse than the government, is your own family.
Right.
It's members, okay? Your own tribe members, okay? They want to control you because they're afraid that if they don't control you, you're going to cause harm to them. It's not that you're going to help them in any regards, that you're going to cause them to rock the boat. Tippy Canoe and Tyler too. Rock that damn boat.
Nice. They'll try to control you politically, but it's okay if somebody marries, a different race or something.
Hey, there is no such thing as this race thing, okay?
Yeah.
People were made up of different minerals from the land,
Right.
okay? Basically, different environments. They're still all men and women.
Right.
They have different attributes, but that's it. We're all the same. We're earthlings.
Byproduct of the earth.
Huh?
Byproduct of the earth.
That's right. We're earthlings. If you want to use a real word, I'm an earthling. I'm not a Martian.
So
I don't know. There might be a few Martians running around here, but I don't know.
could be, who knows?
Well, I'm a Marshall. I was born on the 13th, Patrick.
I noticed when you did the full in care of your address and you did the zip code and then the 4-digit mailbox number, you just put a comment there instead of a hyphen or something. Is that or like I'm just going to use a hyphen?
Yes. Just basically see that zip code plus the 4-digit number with the hyphen.
Yeah.
We know that this is a postal bank, a federal zone number, a depository bank number. Well, what system controls all of the banking out here that is 9 digits? The American ABA, the American Banking Association. Now, some bank routing numbers are 3 digits, dash 6 digits, or no, 3 digits dash 5 digits dash 1 digit type scenario, like for your local commercial bank. I think that's the way their bank routing number is. But see, they can take and modify that ABA number around in different scenarios by putting that dash in different places.
Looks like different number.
Yeah.
And it's what the notary clause doesn't really need to have. Like I've gone and done that before, and they say you have to have a penalty of perjury sentence in there or something. But I think that if it's your document, you get to do it the way you want to do it.
Yeah, you're standing over this, so basically, uh, just keep it as simple as possible. All that notary is doing is just recognizing that the person that is signing that document is who he says he is.
Right.
That's all they're doing. They can't do anything more.
Right.
You don't have to prove nothing else.
We could still put a thumbprint or something on here, or like you say, a forefinger on each side of the signature, or
Well, basically, I sort of messed up. I went in there to the sheriff's office this morning. I took 4 copies in. I signed them, even though on the document I said Mr. Divine Patrick for the person there.
Yeah.
I signed 3 of them as Mr. Patrick Divine, and I said, "Oh shit!" So I turned around and I signed Mr. Divine Patrick above that.
Yeah.
So then I put my thumbprint for Mr. Patrick Divine, and then I put my 2 fingerprints up a little higher to where they tied into Mr. Divine Patrick, and then I embossed all of that.
Right.
So basically, that has a little better standing, showing that Mr. Divine Patrick stands over Patrick Divine.
Right.
I mean, sometimes when you make a mistake, it comes out to your benefit.
Right. That is a good one.
It gives you an idea.
Yeah. Now, number 4, I did sign it, Mr. Divine Patrick, but the stamp that I had on number 4 was upside down. Now, what's an upside down stamp? Reflect. What is a stamp on a document? It's a flag.
Mm-hmm.
You flag that document. So basically, we're operating under duress or
Duress,
distress.
Yeah. Right.
So even that one ended up coming out pretty neat by mistake.
The powers of the universe took over.
Yeah. I mean, certain things are done for a reason.
Yeah, just
And
good
half
to
of my mistakes end up benefiting me.
We're always told we learn from our mistakes.
Yeah. To see, sometimes you may think it's a mistake, but really it isn't. So I can tell you this.
when you assign two names like that, you're passing through as either or anyhow. You're driving. It's like two motorcycles in the same lane.
Yeah. Well, basically, you're showing that the human body has control over my right hand person.
And that you're fulfilling different roles.
Yeah. One has the higher standing than the other.
That was cool. That was a good way to fix that.
Yeah. Yeah. So if anybody questioned me, then I'll just throw that at them. Say, well, here's why I did that.
Even
My
though you thought,
affidavit, it's not theirs.
yeah,
They can't say that that was signed wrong or anything like that. So I signed it that way for a purpose.
Right.
Now I know what the purpose was.
Like I told you, God is in the midst of this thing. He, turn it to happen for a reason.
Yeah. My God's taking care of me.
Yeah, most definitely.
Now, he's not going to take care of you. You've got to take your own God's got to take care of you.
That's right.
Or your spirit has to take care of you.
Or your mind has to take care of you.
That's it. Yeah.
So, like what was said earlier, that we can go do the SS4, get EINs and all that stuff later. Just get this in,
Yes.
and then
Get
probably follow up with
Get in
them.
your standing
Get
because
let-
see, half of this stuff, this corporate stuff, wasn't addressed in the original Constitution. You have to come in and claim your office. You have to find your office. And see, that's what most people never have found, that their office is that they are a principal executive officer or that they are a principal representative of the land. And then they set up their principal executive officer as their right hand person. That's the office that you have to find and you have to claim. And until you claim your office, then any rogue outfit out here can keep your assets from you. That's the definition of office found in Anderson's Law Dictionary.
Well, this is like you're like a big avatar in this whole movement. That's for sure.
Now, I'm just a rebel without a cause.
oh, you have a cause. You're a rebel with a cause.
I'm like James Dean, rebel without a cause.
But you got a
Just
bottle
an
of red
outright
pills
rebel.
over there in your cabinet there, Patrick?
Huh?
You got a bottle of red pills over there?
No.
I'm just teasing.
Yeah, I took that one. Basically, I popped out when I was born as a blue blood because I had the umbilical cord wrapped around my neck, and I knew what the hell was coming. But really, I'm a red blood.
Yeah.
So I'm a red-blooded Aborigine.
They weren't stopping you from coming, huh?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I've heard of people being born with like a veil over their face.
Yeah. Eyes and stuff like that basically they've had to cut away to do some of the
To get them to breathe.
yeah.
Yeah, sailors believe that they'll never drown at sea if they have one. Or superstition.
Oh no, it's true. I mean, basically, they filled people's lungs full of water and deep sea diving, and basically they've gone down to uh, depths that basically most divers couldn't go to.
Just to equalize them?
No, because basically the water in the lungs, basically, you're getting the oxygen from the water itself.
Mm.
See, we lived in the birth canal in water.
Mm-hmm.
We were an amphibious from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
So you was a fish.
You were a fish. You were a little squid.
A little squid, huh?
Yeah.
Well, the lungs were full of water then.
Yeah.
It's been all that time. Yeah.
We had gills. Okay. Now go into some of the websites there about the processing of the human birthing.
Between a zygote and an embryo, yeah, it does have it. It is the body does look like a fish. It has gills.
What they saying? You come to the sea, you're gonna return to the sea.
See, you were a submariner from the get-go. You were underwater.
Water man, spirit.
Okay, any other important questions about what the hell to try and get out of this damn system? Now you ought to start seeing how to put in some of these things to go in and buy. Like I said, the cars. You turn around, you get the invoice from the car dealership, okay? Or you get the window sticker, and you turn around and you do a 1099-C and a 1099-A with the voucher, and you send that into the chief financial officer of Ford Motor Company, General Motors, whatever. Okay, you're canceling the debt that they owe because they had to borrow the money to basically build that car.
For that making some sense there. Fred, stay in the morning.
Let me ask you this. What about automobile insurance?
About what?
Automobile insurance.
You don't need automobile insurance. Okay,
Private property.
You should.
you have a liability, basically a court case or something like that. You would turn around and you would set that off in the court case if somebody brings a charge against you. You do a 1099 C and basically cancel the debt from your Social Security or your certificate of live birth account.
No, this affidavit of Office of American Principal, it doesn't have any numbers in here. I noticed that you don't have to do any of that now. That's just all in the 1099 forms.
Right. Yeah. Because basically all you're doing here is you're claiming your office. Okay. You've got to claim your office before your office can go out and make its claim for the assets that the office is supposed to be holding.
Right. Then you got the keys for the locks.
Yeah. Then you establish your your principal executive officer, your PEO. Now your PEO goes out and basically makes the claim to bring the assets back to the master.
Yeah, and it's true. Like you said, this country's just so full of debt, and it's never been set off or canceled that it's just burying this country.
Yeah, and it's
sinking the
all
ship.
false debt. It's all false debt.
Yeah. That's false debt. That's not real debt.
What was the word you said? What did you say? False step or what?
False.
Yes.
False
It's
debt. Right.
fictional
Okay, I
debt.
got you. Yeah.
Yeah. Watch the movie, The International.
Right.
Okay, these bankers basically get you into a scenario that you are a debtor. We're not the debtors. All these countries out here are rich This is one of the richest countries in the world. It's rich beyond its wildest dreams.
The timber that rolls through this town is unreal. They just had a fire here at the Sierra Pacific Mill last night, but their kiln burned up or something. But man, there's a lot of logs going through there. We got about a half a mile long stack of logs that's probably six wide and about 50 feet tall, with sprinklers going on it all the time. I don't know what's being built. I guess they're sending a lot of wood all overseas, or rebuilding Iraq, or building bases somewhere.
And they have a lumber shortage up north.
Yeah, we're entitled to all these dividends.
And you are getting them, okay?
Mm.
That they're going into your accounts that are under a tarp.
Yeah.
That's the depository account.
Yeah. And back there on the East Coast, that's where all the coal mine is, and the Midwest, there's all this, other resources, whatever, gas and everything else back there.
Yeah, see, basically you can drive for free in this country. You turn around and you take your gas receipts and you send them into BP or whoever that your gas station is tied to.
It's probably a good idea to make copies of all those receipts just in case they do get lost, huh?
Well,
that's how me,
yeah.
That's how millionaires were made, because nobody was claiming the tax.
I noticed when I paid my utility bill here at the city for like water, garbage, sewer, the lady would try to keep the white receipt and give me a yellow duplicate, and I go, "No, I want the white one."
Yeah.
I go, "You're stealing. That's theft right there."
Yeah, I mean,
So want me to call the FBI?
These clerks at the convenience stores and everything else, in a way, they try and talk you out of taking the receipt.
Mm-hmm.
I screwed up this morning for $38 at Casey's. I was in a rush to try, and my mind was on something else, and I walked out and basically didn't pick up the receipt. So I lost out on $38
Mm-hmm.
to claim back.
So they know what they're doing. Yeah, like if they're city employees, they're probably told to do that because then they can go send them in.
No, they can't. Most of them don't know anything about this. Okay, like all the postal employees, they don't know about this form 3613 or the 8096 form. That you can turn around and go and do this. I talked to one of the postal mail delivery people and was explaining to him about the 8096 form and taking the $300 penalties and going in and claiming that.
Ain't that bad. I talked to the mail entry manager. He didn't know nothing about it.
Yeah.
This is mail entry man.
But when you make out the payment and you put the 1099A with it and the 1099C, and you have to make out the form right,
Yeah.
and you're coming in against the cash register, just like in the movie Matrix. All of those people were plugged into different towers. That was a cash register. They were cashing in on the people.
But
So you have to come in against the machine account to unlock the machine account.
Mm-hmm. So we'll go through that. We'll study that next too.
Okay.
This is really helpful. This is encouraging. I'm really, like.
We need to get out there and do this stuff and report back to Patrick our successes.
It lowers the worry level, when you can do this.
Then you have a different standing now. Especially when you do this affidavit and you throw this into court, basically that court has no jurisdiction over you. They definitely know that.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then you send this up to your state attorney general and everything, and basically he's over the law enforcement for the states. Now, and you're coming in and you're claiming that your right hand principal executive officer is exempt from all other foreign third party state of whatever codes. You don't have to have the insurance.
For
You don't have
registration.
to have the
Like-
driver's license. You don't have to have these things because they're all for the employees or the citizens of that corporation.
Right. We just took the collar off.
Mhm. Yep. Okay. Any other questions there?
No, I'm good.
No,
I'm good.
I'm good. I'm just trying to learn how to do this DEVINE stuff, man. This shit is ass.
You're still trying to
That's-
learn how to operate the computer. I know. I told you to go get your 5-year-old grandson.
That's fine to do. All that damn dumbass for you. The things are so stupid. Man, that's it.
Yeah, I mean, basically, if you're having computer problems, go get a younger generation. Basically, break them away from their iPod or whatever for a little while and have them teach you how to operate the computer.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to pack it. This, yeah.
And then you can show them how to get their assets.
Yeah.
I tell you, boy, this is a boogaboo. Yeah, guys.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, Thomas. And thanks, Patrick.
Thank you very much, Patrick.
Okay.
This has
We'll talk to you
been a
guys later.
wonderful-
Okay. Good night.
It's been a wonderful
Okay.
call. Thank you.
Okay. You guys take care. Okay.
You too. Good night.
Okay. Good night.
Well, I'm not going to bed yet, chill. Hey.
Yeah.
What's up, Tom?
Well, that was a good call.
Yeah, it was. Man,
Yeah,
all the calls today.
I think. Well, I think he's given us enough so that we can just sit down and damn get it done. And so that on the next call we can report to him what we've done rather than ask him how to do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I guess if we could, if during the week, I'll post a thing on the website. If in the week we want to get together and discuss this, I've set up a Skype group called Checkout of the System, and that we could do Skype chatting and talk about things. The thing with the Skype chat is that we can do screen sharing and
Oh.
look at the same thing on the screen.
Wow.
So,
That's what's up there, bud.
so
What is it called? What is it called? Check out the system.
the group is, I believe, I just named it. I think I remember the name, but just let me make sure.
But I have your other one, T, with your last name.
Yeah, that's my personal one, and I think to get in this, you have to check out what do I call it? Check out of the system. And it's all one word. And
Okay, good.
what you do is email me your Skype ID, and then I can put you into the group.
Great. I'll do that tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay,
Let's see,
Thomas. Thank you.
who do I have in there right now? I have Gita, Anthony Franklin, Gregory, and Megan.
You got me already in it?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
I think I just put you in there because you're here every time. So I saw your name and I dumped you in it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, very good.
So Patrick's coming up, Patrick. But Tom, have you had any successful with any of these files and folders, man?
No, because the information I needed, we just recently really got over the weekend. Because
Yeah.
the other thing that he was doing, we're on the right track, but with the TSP turned out not to be the way of doing it, and that's what it looked like it was going to be. But what he's done now is much simpler than everything else he's done. Remember, we don't need the EINs and the 56s and the WH. We can get started with exactly the package that he gave us in the zip file.
That's right. That's right.
But
So we-
Thomas, the EIN is good to have, though, right?
Oh yes, we will need it to get everything out.
Yeah, because I think you have to put it
But
on your WH.
but the package he had in here was to go get it out bits and pieces at a time to handle specific situations.
Okay.
And pardon?
Sorry. Yeah, I want you to finish your thought first before I say something.
Right, it's the specific situations. There are some situations where I think I'm going to take care of a property problem I have is actually go to the bank and tell them to give me an invoice.
Yeah, I heard you talk about that a couple of weeks
Yeah.
back. I do the same thing
Right,
tomorrow.
but now he's given us the method to do it now. Whereas before we were doing all this COD methods where you send them a COD, and if they didn't pay, you were going to sue them in court and all of that. This is whole much simpler than any of that.
Yeah, because the voucher makes a difference. The voucher
warrant.
is
It's a
when
warrant.
you sign it and what is it, fingerprinted and emboss it, right?
Yeah. And I'm going to get a rubber stamp made for all this endorsing on the back.
Oh, you mean like just with your name or something?
Well, take a look at in each package. He has 4 packages there in the zip files, and each one he has an endorsement document in blue that you print on the back of your bill. But I'm going to just take that language and turn it into a stamp that I can get a rubber stamp made and go kaboom.
Yeah. As for those 300 too, you can use the
Yeah,
same thing.
because I'm not going to. I don't think I can run the damn envelopes on my printer. I think they'll get all jammed up.
What I did, I just made a JPG of all of mine, and I lined them up, one on top of the other, like a deck of cards when you move them out the way a little bit so you can see all the pages.
Yeah.
And then I just scanned them and just made one copy, and then I put that
But
print.
he was saying we have to endorse the original envelope.
Okay, but I just
That turns
yeah. I understand what you're saying, but since they was all on one JPG, I just endorsed one of them. I mean, I had like 4 of them, and then I just endorsed the one
Right.
to be for all 4 of them. So, I mean,
Yeah, but you're endorsing the back, and they need the front to see the 300 penalty stamp because that's what you're cashing in.
Okay, I understand what you're saying because I didn't do the back. I just did the stamp on the front of all 4 one time.
No, there's a UCC rule that all endorsements go on the back.
Okay, I got you. Hey, I mean, where can I get a copy of their UCC code book? I used to have it a long time ago, but I seem to have misplaced it.
Oh,
You can get it in the library too.
yeah. There's
code in the library.
there's an 1100 page PDF available somewhere.
That's the one I used to have.
Right. Well,
Yeah,
Google for it again.
I'm gonna try and see. I'm gonna try and see it tomorrow.
Yeah. Let me Google, see what happens.
This
Complete-
was really long. Oh, it was
Complete UCC code PDF. What comes up? There's the second thing. I Google complete UCC code PDF. And the second thing is Michigan.gov, the entire UCC book.
Wow. I'm gonna
And
do it
then
right now.
there's one on uniform. Well, that's only Article 2. Uniform Commercial Code at Duke Education, EDU. Google is your friend.
Yeah.
And, you no longer have to play with the card catalog. Okay?
I'm good, Pat. I mean, I would call you Pat. I'm sorry. Thank you, Thomas.
Yes, let's all get to work and get it done and have success.
That's right. 3 days, baby. 3 days from today.
Well, good. Okay, we'll see you then.
Thanks, Thomas. Good night.
Okay, you're welcome. Bye.